quarterback Malik Willis. After a couple years at Auburn, Willis transferred to Liberty and put up some huge numbers. More than 5,000 passing yards, 1,800 rushing yards, and 74 total touchdowns in 23 games with Hugh Freeze and the Flames. For more on the potential QB1 of the 2022 draft class, let's send it over to our guy, JP.
And you heard it in the last segment when I was talking with Felder. I think this is the QB1 of this draft class. Now, he might not be taken first out of the quarterbacks, but I think there is a lot to love about this prospect as we get into his strengths. The first one being his dual threat ability. Now, you're looking at a guy who can make plays. Obviously, with his arm, he is a quarterback first, but he's got some really good juice that comes out of his legs. You can see him in the run game. You can see him when plays start to break down. He's going to be a guy who can buy himself time to make the throw, or he can go and get the yards that are out in front of him. Really valuable trait to have in the NFL. Number two, I love the way this guy throws a deep ball. Now, it's not always going to be perfect, but he does a very good job, probably the best out of anybody in this class, of getting the ball out of his hands to receiver deep down the field. Something that NFL teams obviously like. We see the speed that some of these teams possess. They want to get the ball to their athletes out in space, let them catch and run. He's a guy who can do it. And then number three, I think he's got a great build. Now, he's not going to be the prototypical quarterback height, but he doesn't do prototypical quarterback things because he is a dual threat guy. He's got good height, but he's got a really good frame. He's a thicker body type of guy sitting around 220 pounds or so at just over 6 feet. It's something that you like about his build. Now, you go over to his weaknesses. First one being his eyes drop on the scramble. When you look at quarterbacks, when the pocket starts to break down, when they have to start making plays outside of the pocket, one of the things you look for is their eyes. Do they keep their eyes up? Because that means that they're trying to find the open receiver down the field in scramble drill. This guy starts to look at the pass rush. He starts to look for running lanes. If he wants to be a quarterback that can stay for a long time in the league, he's going to have to look down the field to try to hit those guys. He's got some mechanical issues. What I mean is there's a little bit of hitch in the way that he throws it. He's a ball patter. And DBs, linebackers, and zone coverage love looking at ball patterns because they're going to tell you exactly when the ball is coming out. So he's going to have to work on that. And then finally, finesse passing game. We're talking about some of the underneath routes. We're talking about some of the touch throws these guys have to make. Touch has been inconsistent for him. Overall, in a quarterback draft class that is not necessarily great, this guy is the one for me, top of my QB list.